Welcome to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim. Every Wednesday, Mark and Kim, along with their special guests, will explore thought-provoking topics and ideas that promote creativity, self-help, healing, happiness, and well-being to inspire you on your spiritual journey. Each week, Mark and Kim will discuss different paths to achieving a more spiritual, balanced, happy, and healthy lifestyle. Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience, and all things spiritual. Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. Mark and Kim are tested, certified, and professional spiritual mediums, metaphysical teachers, healers, and spiritual advisors with their own individual spiritual practices in Seattle, Washington, and Los Angeles, California. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
And good afternoon, inspired listeners in America and all around the world. I am so excited to be here today. I was sick the last couple of weeks, so it sure is great to be back. And today we have a great show ahead of us with a guest that I promise is going to make this hour fun. I'm Kim Thalken, founder of Love First, where life transformations happen in Encino, California. I'm a psychic medium, an energy healer, hypnotherapist, and spiritual counselor. If there's anything that I can do to help you live a happier and more purposeful life, please let me know. You can find me at lovefirst.info. That's LOVEFIRST, lovefirst.info. And my co-host, Mark Lanehart, the intuitive prospector, is in the UK this week. I am so excited for him. He is studying his mediumship at the Arthur Findlay College. So I will be solo today doing Inspired Living by myself with our lovely guests. But if you'd like to learn more about Mark's work, you can find him at marklanehart.com. Mark, have an amazing time in England, and I just can't wait to hear all about it when you come back. If you'd like to interact with us on social media, you can find us on Facebook under Inspired Living Radio, Twitter and Instagram under Inspired for Us, and Google Plus under Inspired Living with Mark and Kim. And this is where you can interact with us. You can ask us questions. You can send through requests on topics you might like us to cover on Inspired Living. And you can also find out, of course, every week about our upcoming shows and the guests that we'll have on. You can send through your questions for our guests on social media, but you can also call in live at 202-570-7057. You may also listen to all of our archives on OMTimes Radio, Podbean, SoundCloud, marklanehart.com, YouTube, and iTunes. If you miss any one of our live shows, you can always listen to the podcast on any one of those platforms. Today is going to be a fun hour because of our guests, and you'll know what I'm talking about when we bring her on. Today we have Robin Raj Munger, who is a psychic medium, a fellow BAP colleague, Best American Psychics colleague. She is a healer, an animal communicator, and contributes to solving cold cases. She's an ongoing investigation. She's done a lot of work in that area, and I'm kind of excited to learn about what she's doing these days in the way of solving these cases, because it's always very interesting work, difficult but interesting. So we'll hear a little bit about that. She's a Karmic Soul Coach. Whoa, that sounds interesting too. Her work has evolved into incorporating tools to assist her clients to further their healing, learning, and raising their consciousness to achieve and manifest a life of joy and abundance. And who doesn't want that? Raj combines her connection to spirit along with clearing the blocks that oftentimes hold us back in life. She continues to believe and see every challenge and obstacle in life as an opportunity for our souls to evolve and grow. It is her belief that we are meant to live a joyful, happy life full of love and purpose. And she is excited to bring some new teachings this upcoming year. We'll be hearing about the work she'll be doing in 2017, starting with a mindful meditation class. She'll be your virtual tour guide to your own soul. And she's also going to be offering online webinars as well that'll assist in decoding those reoccurring themes in your life, along with some in-person animal communication workshops. Raj is also a mother of 3 amazing young ladies, beautiful young ladies. She's a mom to many 4-legged animals that keep her grounded, happy, and grateful, and an avid gardener. Raj, welcome to Inspired Living.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, me too. It's so great to have you. Yeah, and it's been a while since we've been on air together, hasn't it?
It sure has, but it really is so nice. So I'm glad to be rounding the corner, as I say, circling the wagons.
Yeah. So for our inspired listeners out there, Raj, Mark, and I, and our other co-host and colleague, Diana, we all used to do a show called The Hour to Empower. We used to have a lot of fun, the 4 of us in the chat room and talking to everybody on air. And so it's just, it's nice to be back on air live with you today, Raj. I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of fun this next hour.
Oh, we should, we shall, and we are.
So, with all the things that I just read that you're doing, I mean, that's a lot of stuff going on out there in Arizona. Raj is calling in live from Glendale, Arizona. Is there anything that you
Gilbert.
don't do, Raj?
Yeah,
Gilbert.
That's okay. There's no joke that I'm obsessed with Wonder Woman. Some days, I do better than others at that. So, and I've always said that, I don't just fit into one box. And so somehow everything's kind of coming together, and it's really good to diversify your work. And there's just many things that have kept me, has guided me to it. And really, that's it. That's where I go. So why not be able to share that with other people? That's why we're here.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, Raj, you do so, when you talk about diversity, the work that you are doing is absolutely just that. I mean, just in our conversation the other day when you and I were talking, you are not only doing work to help the animal kingdom, but also humanity in so many different ways, whether it is working with the widows who were grieving the loss of their spouses, where you were doing a gallery event delivering messages from loved ones. You are working with children, right? Doing some work with children.
Yeah. I do.
I mean, and also their parents.
I love
to help
kids.
Them.
And exactly. And it's really about with the children especially. Well, I love children. I always actually that's probably going to come up in the next year or two. I've threatened to run a Camp Raj, and we have to be careful what we say and what we intend on, because when Spirit guides you to do something, you have to do it. And I love working with some children that have special needs, Down syndrome, some OCD. Things that you would think would be counterintuitive, especially the OCD part for children, but the immense connecting of the dots in their brain, body, and spirit function is profound to me. And if that's something I can actually lend a hand, because we are seeing a lot of, autism. We're seeing a lot of peculiar, different diseases showing up in young kids, and I firmly believe that they're being rewired. This might be out there for some people, but in a higher vibrational pattern, because they're supposed to be teaching us something and also expanding consciousness in a different way, so we can see it in a different way. I say we, meaning everybody else that doesn't understand it, right? So It's not about understanding it. It's about learning from them and actually giving them some tools to be able to kind of sink into this human world that we live in.
Well, and I'd like for you to talk about all the different areas of work that you're doing today. But real quick, just as we're on the topic of children, I mean, a lot of things, we hear a lot about ADHD too. What are your thoughts around that?
It's a different learning. It's just a different way of learning. It's quicker. It's faster. It's a different way of intaking, and then they're outputting. The way they actually take things in, it's like a computer, right? So if it gets too junked up, you kind of gotta turn it off, shut it down, reboot, and then it's definitely, you know how spirit works, and I've always said that that's why I love radio, is because spirit's on the same vibrational level as radio waves, right? And a little bit higher. And these children are coming in, so they're not taking in the stuff that they can't take in so much, right? So it's my sense that kids are being wired differently in order to be able to create something. I'm going to tell you, this is my prediction, and I'll say it live. The millennials, even though, you know, our generation, I'm Generation X, right? We continue to say, oh, they're lazy, or they're this, or, you know, there's some negativity around it, but we need them. And we need them because they have all these attention deficits. They have learning disabilities. They've got a whole host of different ways of learning. So in other words, we're going to be shifting the way we teach, and really, what are we putting into our think tanks, really? What really matters? Maybe we're not teaching things that are really that important anymore.
Okay, well, yeah, that's definitely something for consideration. What do you think about, like, it feels, and we're going to be heading, actually, there we go, we're heading into our first break already. Right. So stay with us, everyone. We'll be back in 2 minutes as we continue our conversation with the lovely Robin Raj Munger. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Have you been searching for a perspective beyond the mainstream? Check it out. Join your hosts Cielito Pascual and Diana Gold Holland on Share International Radio for thought-provoking views behind the news, Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio. You can also find us at shareontheairradio.org. This may be the message of hope you've been waiting for.
Are you seeking answers to life questions? Would you like to connect to a departed loved one? Are you suffering from pain, stress, or anxiety? Kimberly Thalkin is a tested, certified, and professional psychic, spiritual medium, energy healer, hypnotherapist, and the founder of Love First, where life transformations happen. Love First services support, guide, and empower individuals by connecting them to their highest potential to live a healthier, joyful, and meaningful life that's filled with purpose. All services can be done by phone, Skype, or in person in Encino, California. Please visit lovefirst.info. That's LOVEFIRST.info for more information.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim and our special guest today, the lovely Raj Munger. So, Raj, before we went to break, I wanted to ask if what your thoughts were on, because it seems like the first thing people want to do with diagnosis like ADHD is give children medication. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that there's a time and place for medication. I think that also looking at it holistically, what's the vibration of the food we're putting into our bodies? What's the vibration of what the any sort of chemical? We have to look at it as a whole. And I think that like I said, I'm not opposed to medication. I think it's our first knee-jerk reaction because we want to fix our children. And it's a real fear. It's a fear, and how do you manage it? And I can totally see how the brain functions. And, my own daughter is dyslexic, so I'm fortunate that I was able to see how her brain was operating and how she could learn differently. And so to be able to actually, and I think a lot of it is food-based, and I'm not going to say all of it. I think there's, like I said, there's a lot of contributing factors to why this is an epidemic, because it really, quite frankly, it is. And so, what are we putting? Has anybody watched television lately or in social media? Or what are we putting into our think tanks? There's a multitude of ways that we can actually, and that's why I threatened Camp Raj, is because this connects them to the earth, right? Connects them to the earth, and it connects the dots in terms of how to cross the pathways of left brain, right brain. There's a real, there is scientific backing for this, and also, what they're learning is much faster, much quicker, and far shorter than what we are used to. So there is a time and place for medication, and I do believe that, I'm not going to say I can't say that we can't use medication, but it's, if we look at it in a different lens, perhaps, things may change with it, and they can actually help them learn a lot better, a lot quicker, a lot easier. Painful for a lot of kids. School is painful. I'm sure it is. Yeah. I'm sure it is. Now, I know the nature of what we've been talking about is more on the serious side, but when you say Camp Raj, okay, that everybody better sign up early, because I'm telling you, the kids. I have adults actually come and tell me, forget the kids, bring me. I'm like, okay. Raj,
you'd be like everybody, that fun auntie that everybody likes to go,
That's
just
true.
Have fun with you. So that would be great. It is. You bring up a good point, though, because, this whole spirituality gig thing, it doesn't have to be so heavy. It doesn't have to be so hard. Life doesn't have to be. There's not one single magic pill. And, I do like to keep it, of course I take it extraordinarily seriously. This is my purpose, job, life, whatever you want to call it. However, I think that, in the mindful meditation classes that I'm going to be teaching, I'm going to be a virtual tour guide for your own image maker. And how fun is that? Same thing Raj would be like, right? I'm sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. The same thing like what Camp Raj would be. So, it's about learning. Oh, boy. Yeah.
For you, that's right.
You're getting the picture.
So Raj, you're doing all kinds of work. Talk to us about all the different types of, I know we talked a little bit about the kids and the beautiful work you're doing there, but boy, you do a lot of work with the animal kingdom too, huh?
I do. Well, it's my homeostasis, and everybody who knows me, I am the mystic cowgirl. That's a true story. And
that's right.
From day one, I've surrounded myself with. I have pictures of me sleeping in my dog's bed when I was young, one. I prefer the animals actually for a long time. So I do work. I have horses and chickens and dogs and a cat and dogs, I should say. And it is my grounding. It is my grounding rod. And there also have been an extraordinary teacher for me in what I do now and how I've been able to evolve. They've been a real teaching for me. They're the epitome of unconditional love. And I've had rescues and dogs, and I have sucker written on my mailbox apparently. And and I try to help. I do some work with horses, and I work on them. I can do long distance healing. I can actually help connect people to what it is that. Okay, lost dogs. Hello, your little beauty.
Okay, let's just talk about that for a moment.
Okay.
Yes, I posted a picture on social media of my little one, Lexi Lou, who's a 4.5-pound Chihuahua mix. I guess I rescued her too, so I think that's what she is. But that little monkey got herself into some trouble as she went exploring, and I couldn't find her. Yeah, and so of course, who's the first person that I reached out to was Raj, and you do such great work with animals, and you know what, Raj, I realized I was one of those people. When we're doing readings and we're talking about X, Y, and Z to a client, and the client says, no, I don't understand that, and then half hour later they're talking about X, Y, and Z, and you go back and you say, that's what I'm talking about, is X, Y, and Z, that's what I'm talking about.
Right,
and you just don't think when you're in the moment, because you were telling me, well, she's on the side of the house. There's like a gate there, and I'm thinking, no, she's not there. And sure enough, I just wasn't thinking. I was in that mode of panic, trying to find her.
Yeah.
And sure enough, she was right where Auntie Raj says she would be.
Oh, I know she does. Bless her little heart. She had like a beacon on her saying, I'm right here, I'm right here.
I know. So anybody who's got any questions around their pets, their animals, you do a lot of work with them. I would highly recommend a session with Raj. She's just so great with them. You understand them. You do great work with them, and you were able to help me find my little one too. So I'm so appreciative of that.
I'm happy to
think about the. Yeah, well, thank you so much, Raj. When we lose our little ones, that's a scary thing.
There are families, and I really seriously, they are our family, and that's the end of the sentence.
That's right. So what do you think? What's one of the things that we can learn the most from the animal kingdom?
Oh gosh,
how do they help humanity?
They help you raise your consciousness, which is obviously the big part of what I'm doing in my work. And really, I'm the poster child for my own work. Really, I'm my best grand experiment, if you will. But they, especially horses, they do pick up on your vibration because everything's energy. We know this to be true. It's been quantified, measured scientifically. And, you have to have a clean think tank, if you will, when you're getting ready. They always say never ride a horse angry because they really do.
Boy, that's funny. Right.
It's a true story, and I've done it before, and it does not end up well. So,
oh, boy, right.
So what we can learn, I'm just using horses as an example, but dogs are extraordinarily, all of them are very sensitive to our energetic value of what we're bringing forward. And so what we can learn is, hey, where am I at? Let me measure where I'm at. Do I need to clear something out, or Am I carrying in a bunch of emotional baggage, or is there some nervousness? What can I do to quickly recalibrate myself so I can show up? And it's not even for the animal. It is for the animal's sake, but ultimately, when you do that for yourself, just imagine what you're doing for other people around you. So we attract what we are, not what we want.
Wow, yes, isn't that the truth? And I like how you said that when we recalibrate ourselves, we're not only doing it for us, but ultimately for everybody else around us. And that's something that I think people may not be aware of, or they don't think about their own well-being as a contributing factor to the well-being of the greater good.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we are all connected.
Individuals, we're all connected. That's right. And so,
absolutely.
And even like you said, even our animals that benefit from our own well-being too, because they're like little sponges. They
are.
They'll, pick up everything. So Raj, what type of work are you able to do? And I know you do. So you do solving cold cases for people, but you also do that for animals too. And I know that obviously you helped me find my little one, but I know that you've been a great part of, for some other of our other colleagues who do a lot of work with the animals, will send out, oh, goodness gracious, that is our second break. We're heading into another 2-minute break here. Stay with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes, and we'll be with our special guest, Robin Raj Munger.
Sounds good.
The cutting edge of conscious radio. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Have you wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Eros Evolution is where sexuality and spirituality meets. Join me, clinical sexologist Martha Tara Lee, on Eros Evolution on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Mark Lanehart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Mark's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream. Dare to explore. Dare to live. For more information on Mark's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marklanehart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.
Sparky the Fire Dog here. Protect your family from fire. Make sure your home has smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside your sleeping areas, and on every level of your home, even your basement. For games and activities, go to sparky.org.
We want to keep you, your family, and your community safer from fire. This message brought to you by the National Fire Protection Association and your local fire department. Visit sparky.org.
And welcome back to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim and our special guest today, Raj Munger. I just want to make sure that the listening audience knows how they can find you, Raj. You can go to your website at themysticcowgirl.com. Raj is also on Facebook at The Mystic Cowgirl. Instagram, check that on our social media page because it's looks like it's more of a link there. And then Twitter at Raj Munger, at Raj Munger 3, the number 3. And you can find me at lovefirst.info and Mark Lanehart at marklaneHart.com. So, Raj, before we went to break, we were talking about animals, but you know, we're talking about how different issues come up around the country that other colleagues are familiar with missing animals and things like that. And you've been able to help people around the country find their animals and help them. So you're doing some beautiful work there. Now you're also doing cold cases as well for people. You're working with law enforcement. Fascinating
work at best, right? At least it is. I thought it would affect me. Yeah, I was going to say it takes a certain type of person to be able to do that, right? That work. I thought it would. It does. I do believe that, and it isn't for everybody, I don't think. And I thought at first it would. Well, it just came naturally to me, and that's the part that kind of baffled me. But once I knew that, I, really ultimately it's for justice, really for the person that had the crime committed, also to seek some peace and closure for families. I think that's really the biggest part of the work that brings you satisfaction because they're pro bono work, so you don't get paid for it. Also, perhaps we're shifting into a different gear here in order to be seen as legitimate in our industry, in our world, and what we're doing in this world, to be able to use other senses to help solve cases and help and be seen perhaps differently by the police and our in all of everything out there where, so we're trying to actually make sure that we have a concerted effort to be seen as credible and viable and another tool to be able to help solve some crimes. And when you talk to us about the process of receiving information for cold cases. Are you, everybody's where do you get your information? How does the information come? It disseminates. We have I'm actually going to be working. Well, basically, you have a manager of the information. You get either the birth date, preferably the birth date and the death date. And everybody's a little different on how they like information, but the little information I get, the better, because I don't want anything to change what I'm seeing. And basically, that's what I do is I go back and time is really just a human-made measurement. So we can actually travel back in time, kind of go through the eyes of either the victim or usually the victim for me. That's how I do it. And be able to extract key, important, evidential information so that'll give the police or whomever the caseworker is more information to go on. Something maybe that they were missing, or even a location. Location is a big one, especially for murder cases where they can't find the body. That's a big deal. So
goodness, heavy work there.
It can be heavy. It definitely can. But again, once you step, this is how I do it with everything. Once you step out of that space, you got to raise your vibe again. You got to clean yourself off, and I think that it's really important. And I mean, clean yourself off energetically, even in your mind and beyond, to be able to take care of yourself properly. Especially doing this work, you have to be 100% grounded. You just have to be.
Now, okay, let's thank goodness for, people like you who are able to put yourself in a situation that's not exactly, anytime you get called on a cold case, that's not a pleasant scenario there that you're working with. So It takes a lot emotionally, mentally, and probably even physically too, to do this work.
It is, and I should say everybody we accumulate everybody's findings, and then from that report gets sent out to whomever it needs to get sent to. So it is a cumulative group effort that I think lends to the productivity of the cases.
Well, and as Raj mentioned earlier, that's pro bono, meaning you're not getting paid. You're doing it to serve humanity, and so thank you for the work that you're doing. There. So switching gears a little bit, Raj, because again, you're doing so much great work in so many different areas, but you're doing a lot of work, starting to do more and more in the way of helping people clear old patterns.
Yes.
And behaviors and things that really don't serve them. So
yes,
talk
about my best friend experiment. I am. Yeah.
Well, talk about some of the work you're doing in that area. And give us an example, like what might be a pattern that somebody wants to break, and how do you then work with them to support them in helping them make those shifts?
Well, ultimately, here's the real deal of the deal. By the time we are 12, we have some sort of subconscious idea of who, or a story that we bought, if you will. And typically they're not our own. So I'll try and give you an example of this as a bird screams next to me here. Anyway, the truth is they're really not our story. So our subconscious actually holds us like a computer chip, and it implants in there, and we set up these patterns over and over again until we get the real, until we can break through. So you hold on to this. So, for example, let's just say, let's just use, I have a client I won't even name, but father up and left, right, by age 5. So what she recreated in her life was partners in her life that would just all of a sudden, so this is big abandonment issues, right? Trust, things like that. And so we take it on ourselves when we're young because they're like, well, there's something must be wrong with me. Well, I'm not worthy, or I'm unlovable. That's a really good example of how we set ourselves up to recreate that whole lesson over again until we can actually go in there and energetically kind of unplug it, going to drain the bathtub and hand that story back and actually replace some really great energetic value, raise your vibration. And when I say raise your vibration, Dr. Hawkins, who wrote the book Power versus Force, I highly recommend everybody get it. But again, quantifying the power of our consciousness and our energetic value, and how do we raise that? How do we thwart up or eliminate that old record that plays that tape that goes over in our head over and over again? I give people tools, or we blow it up literally, and we replace things. And it isn't just a mantra. It's about literally. That's the one thing it correlates somewhat with the laws of attraction, except for this actually puts the action piece into it. And so therefore you get conscious, you get your awareness, and you start looking through a different lens. And so you can view everything as an opportunity for growth in your soul's expansion. And so you can make a choice. You can make different choices in order to actually not have that pattern continuously recreate itself.
Some people, it's very easy to get stuck in those patterns because you don't know any differently, or you haven't been given the tools to move past that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of self-judgment. There's we are our worst critics, and I can tell you that that's true for me too. And there's a lot of things I've come to realize that there's things about we're hard on ourselves, and so to lighten it up on the gas pedal there and learn how to be able to view it perhaps in a different viewpoint. And there's a very big difference between giving up and surrendering. And I always say this: the growth is this is the doorway for our own soul's growth, just right at that point when you surrender. So it isn't throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but it's about not resisting what it is the lesson is in it. Get the lesson, clear it, get some other tools that I can give you to be able to move forward. And I can tell you some serious shifts happen after that. You definitely view things through a different lens.
So it sounds like you're doing some energy work there with your clients for that, and working with. And then the coaching and and so it's kind of a multi. I use my gifts in terms of being able to see things, right? So I can see where we're holding the patterns in our bodies, which, Louise Hayes was on the forefront of that with being able to, equate emotions with where the illness is. So, but by being able to see the energetic value or the stuck or where the energy pattern is being held in our bodies, being able to kind of pull that out, and this is all long distance. You do not have to be in front of me to actually receive this, right? Because people are familiar with Reiki, and it's not Reiki at all. It's kind of a where are we storing our stuff is really where it's at. All right, and we're heading into our final break. Stay with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes as we talk about breaking old patterns with our guest, Robin Raj Munger.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Dr. Kevin here, and I want to invite you every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to join me on the Dr. Kevin Show, where we have a diversity of guests who help you step outside the box, behind the curtain, and see what a load of crap is going on in the world today, so you have more information with which to make better decisions. We'll see you there. Namaste.
America's service members and veterans are strong, forged out of bravery, sacrifice, and duty. Sometimes reaching out for help can be the most challenging and worthwhile mission of all. When you recognize something isn't right, make the call to the Veterans Crisis Line or Military Crisis Line. Dial 1-800-273-8255 and press 1.
Welcome back to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim, and our special guest today, Robin Raj Munger. So, Raj, before we went on break, we were talking about breaking old patterns. So once we do that and we want to, begin manifesting, because that can be an impediment to manifesting that which we want, right? So we got to do first things first, understand those patterns and how to correct that, right?
Yes. Well, you want to literally, energetically just allow them to leave. And I love the saying by Dr. Wayne Dyer. It's like, change the way you look at things, and the way you look at things change. And that's the next step in the process, where once you've kind of identified the age in which you bought the story, where you bought it, and of course we have a lot of stories we bought from people, right? But there's usually two, I'd say 1 to 2 dominating themes that actually people hold on to. So once you do that, then you can actually start, when you clear it, you can actually start instituting a different way of viewing at things and how the vibrations in our thoughts are the same thing. You know, thoughts are energy, right? So how do we actually put that into motion with the specific, I guess you could call it an antidote to those thoughts, and how you can change it, and how then all of a sudden everything becomes, you become more aware, and then the choice is there. Then you have the choice. You have the choice to actually continue, because it's not even a lot of people's awareness that that's the old pattern that's keeping them stuck. It's pretty fascinating what we hide in our, and we hide it in our bodies too. Women especially is, I'm not saying men are exempt, but women have, do store things in specific places that, you know, in good hiding places so nobody can get there. Too vulnerable. So
you mean like
we do that,
like in our hips and our behind?
You got it. You got it. I'm trying to make sure that I stay above the line here for you, Kim, because you know you haven't had to bleep me yet.
Oh, you know, we're being real, Raj.
Yes. No other way to be, Kim.
Yeah.
Truth be told.
So
you know, then being able to institute the tools, you actually start manifesting some amazing greatness. Even if you just play with raising your vibration out in public, I've actually done experiments with this and how I've actually run my energy, and it doesn't have to take long. It's not arduous at all. Remember, on the premise of we attract what we are, not what we want. So if we're walking out in the world with just pretty much love, that measurement of love or even joy, what are you going to create in your life? That's how it starts happening.
So the first step, or a very important step, saying that which we want for our experience in our life, that which we want, you would say would be to raise your vibration.
Yeah. Now, based on I'll tell you a little bit about the scale of consciousness, okay? And the truth be told is majority of humanity, I guess you could say, is below 200. Now, there's, again, scientific, the measurement of 200 is from 0 to 1,000, and it is megahertz, right? So 0 to 1,000, so 1,000 is enlightenment. So we're talking Buddha, all the big leaders, Dalai Lama even, Jesus. That's kind of what we are striving for in this human world, right? Well, most of us. Now,
right.
Right. There are a few exceptions to that rule. And, you know, again, people come in with a certain level of consciousness, but to people that understand that we're here, this is a classroom for all intents and purposes, but we're really meant to be in a joyful, loving space. We're supposed to enjoy the food, enjoy laughing, the amazing part about being human. And so 0 to 1,000, let's just say, so anything below 500, that line of 500 is a measurement of love, 540 is joy, gratitude's up there. But all the lower dwelling ones are anger, shame, fear. The majority of people are walking around underneath that 500 line. So even if somebody who's listening takes away from this conversation today, seriously, just think about, okay, I'm going to resonate with 500, which is the level of love, and walk out today and see the difference. Or 540, shoot for 540. It's joy. No matter what's going on in your world, it's about 1 second of pure thought. Change it, shift it, move it, and see what happens. It just is, there's no way. The universe is like the 401k, you know, that it matches it.
Okay. I love that, Raj. I love that. Very good. Okay, that's right. And unfortunately, people don't understand the universe in that way sometimes. They see it as working against them. But so it's great that you're, out there teaching how people can work with the universe, not against it.
Yes, exactly.
So what might be the best way for someone to raise their vibration? When you say raise your vibration?
I do a visualization of literally making sure I am connected from above right down to Mother Earth, going back all the way up our bodies. And I run my clients through this visualization, ultimately being able to connect from above and below, right? Because that's what we are. That's what we are. And so if you can do that and visualize going all the way through your body, just take a shower of beautiful golden light, energetic. Like, see it shimmering down your entire body. Go down, make sure you connect it to Mother Earth. Mother Earth is there to transmute any of the negative or heavy or dense or anything like that fear that actually connects or attaches to us because of our thoughts or our environment or the news or social media. Drop it down there for her for food and bring it all the way back up your body and connect back up to the light above. And when you're connected like that, it's like getting the kinks out of the hose. And once you do that, then you set your intention. I'm a very visual person, so I love to have that. Of course, I have the scale of consciousness kind of memorized in my brain at this point. But for people that are visual learners, you can actually, go on and look at the scale of consciousness. Go look up Dr. Hawkins' scale of consciousness. And even just say, okay, 500 or above today. That's what I'm going to do. And when we get a stinking thinking thought, run your energy again.
Oh, right, because that's going to happen. So you just redirect, right?
You just keep running it, and I can tell you it doesn't stick. So you remember, the only bags we want to pack are for a fun trip. Okay? We don't want to carry all the baggage, all the energetic, lower dwelling stuff. It's natural human tendency to go and fall into the fear and panic and worry and shame and guilt and judgment and all of those things, but they don't serve us in the long run.
That's the truth, because that is where you'll stay, right? You just stay there, going round and round.
That's right. And remember, when you point, they come right back to you.
When you what? When you do what?
When you point, 3 fingers come right back to you. So whenever we're actually like,
there you go.
Right? Okay. So it's really easy to say, well, they made me feel like that, or damn them, or whatever else. What part of yourself and what part in the mirror can you look at to actually raise your vibration? And what part are you judging? Yourself, more importantly.
All very, very good things to be mindful of and to remember. And Raj, as we're nearing the end of the show here, I just want to make sure that everybody knows how they can find you on your website at themysticcowgirl.com, on Facebook at The Mystic Cowgirl, and also Twitter at Raj Munger, the number 3. And then for Instagram, check our social media. But Raj does wonderful, wonderful work. So if you decide to do a session with Raj, she's very talented, I will say, in the things, in the work that she does. and I would highly recommend a session. Raj, in closing, I know you're going to be doing some classes. Are there any? Is there a place where people can go to find out about your upcoming online workshops and the meditation classes?
Yeah, I'll be posting things on the Mystic Cowgirl Facebook page. That's primarily where I'll have information on there. And for people that live in Arizona, it's the Life Balance Center is going to be where I'm doing my fun mindful meditation classes. Starting, I'm going to do a couple in December, and then starting every week in January for the new year. So, and then the webinars, I'm working on that right now. I'm not the technology queen, but I'm becoming far more advanced in that, much to my chagrin. It's expanding me. Just put it that way. Because
we don't have a choice, right?
Well, I'm going to say we do. But I am so thankful for being on here. I'm honored that I got to chat with you.
Oh, Raj, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you to all of our inspired listeners for joining us this hour. And we will look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, namaste.